Today is the 4th of September, to the best of my knowledge, because I haven't checked. And yet, 2 days ago, on Tuesday evening, I did a Kundalini yoga class in person because I had done a few videos and I saw on YouTube and some advice regarding how it could be it's such a powerful energy and it immediately starts impacting your life because it's like a super spiritual type of yoga because so it has the movement, which is like a lot of the times linked with breathing. And so there's breath work, there's movement, there's one of the yoga teachers on YouTube said, you can trust your body and really go into the movement, which I don't know if it applies for all of you. This is the thing of one of the warnings that they said about this yoga is that it's really important to kind of have some sort of mentorship, some guide, because maybe there will be some changes in your body and you're like, oh, you could get scared. I think what happened in class, which was interesting, I'll just close the concept of okay, so you have movement, you have breath work, you have meditation. So after however many minutes you do of the repetitive movement linked with the breathing, then you go into deep meditation with the hand position, which I don't even know anything. I believe it's called mudra, but I could be wrong. I've just ordered a few books that are more, so I was reading the autobiography of a yogi, and I'm still reading it. I'm oh my gosh, this is so cool. And I woke up last night. Whoever follows my train of thought, congratulations. Okay, so I should have a little notebook and okay, one second, so that whenever I have an idea of what to mention, I can just write it down. Okay, so parts of Kundalini, and then the dream class effect. Okay, so I think that's okay. So then the parts of Kundalini, you have the breath work, you have the repetitive or movement that is you do a repetition, and then you have the meditation right after it with the hand position, and then I believe you also get kind of a guidance or introduction or kind of a speech at the beginning, and it's kind of a sermon or reflection point at the beginning of the class. So I think you're getting knowledge, you're doing the physical, you're doing the breath work, you're doing the meditation. There is just so much that happens in class. So I'm very excited. And and it was really weird because I've been missing home a lot. And then in class, one of the songs, it was Andean music, and I was like, nah. So I was like, let's go really deep into the movement to really be able to and I think there's so much it's we are ourselves our own biggest project of exploration and curiosity and being kind and gentle, but also how do I keep getting closer to, because I think I was seeking kind of outside of myself this sort of sense of realization or to be able to be proud of myself and stuff, and all of these things. Of course, it doesn't, whenever you accomplish something, even if it's huge, I understand that you can be proud of the skill that it took to get to that place, and at the same time there is more, and perhaps it's because we're looking in the wrong place. And it's this kind of metaphor of, or this parable or the story of there's a homeless person begging for coins, and they're sitting on a treasure box full of gold. And it's kind of the thing of we're looking outside of ourselves. I didn't make up the story. For this fulfillment, this joy, this bliss, this love, this beyond words feeling in outside of ourselves, when it's actually inside through practices like meditation. And personally, I know that a lot of people are and I was one of them, and I was I really just don't find any joy in meditation because I just have tons of different thoughts. This is a waste of time. And for people, I mean, and I got diagnosed with ADHD, so I think if what I found really helpful was the Joe Dispenza meditations, because he guides them like really strongly. So it's like really difficult to, even if you zone out for a little bit, like it's so easy to come back to it because there's just active like guidance throughout it. And I think there's something with like the deep music and the reverberation of the voice that really just like can like help you get to like a little bit of a different state. That was just my personal experience. For instance, other people that are very close to me, they're like, I don't want to hear anything from him because it's just sounds too like strong and just like, they were like, oh, sounds like he's full of himself or something. I was like, well, there's different paths to like different people. And part of the reason why I wanted to talk on YouTube online about my experiences, because I was like, well, whenever you're on an interesting journey, it's like weird, because especially with like any sort of thing to do with spirituality, it's so weird, because it's like, you know, maybe the people around you are just like on a different like path, because I certainly didn't want to hear anything about spirituality a few years ago when I was in this path of like, let's like denounce anything that cannot be proven, like with today's like science. And you know, sometimes like there were times like that other cultures had developed a lot of information on something that only came about like hundreds or thousands of years later through science methods. So, and I'm not saying let's question everything, but to go inside, especially because I got to a point where there were so many things going wrong in my life, and there was just so much pain, and I just couldn't hide from it anymore. There was just nowhere to run. And my body also was hurting, but not in a way that could be really helped too much by science. I was given some medication and that helped, but I stopped taking it. One week I tried to, so I took it for a week and that was really nice. But then I started doing meditation. I was like, it's the same effect as the pill, but I don't have to take the pill, but I just really have to do the meditation. And I would have to do the meditation over an hour each day. And if I stopped, like if I did like, you know, I didn't really fully do a meditation, or did like half an hour or something like that, it would like the pain would come back. So so that's kind of been my journey. And in Kundalini yoga class on Tuesday, for some reason, so like there was like one, I believe it's Kriya. I mean, I hesitate to use the names because I'm like, I don't feel like I know the whole like theory or like substance behind it. So, but anyway, so you do like this and this, and I felt like I had full kind of range of motion on my right side, but I felt like, and then there was another one where you're just like kind of going around in circles, and the other way, like kind of oiling the spine probably. And I just couldn't feel, like my left side was like, I just didn't really have too much. I mean, obviously I felt my body, but I couldn't feel like I had full range of motion or like full sensitivity really. And that was so interesting. It was like the left half of my body was like at a lower kind of just like energy level, not like on a crazy definition of energy, literally just energy. Like someone has a lot of energy, someone has little energy. My right side had a lot of energy. I felt really cool and empowered, and the left side was like, what is going on? It was the first time that it had ever happened. And so I looked up in ChatGPT. And it said in the kind of concept of Kundalini, the left side is like the feminine, or like the moon, the intuition. And I realized that, yeah, I had grown up with this concept that you have to, you know, the men in our family were like super powerful and had achieved so many amazing things. There was this whole concept as well in the society of Peru, or that I personally had grown up in, that it was like, let's strive to be like them. But it's okay to want to be like someone, but we have to start, I think personally I had to start with getting to know who I am. It's kind of as if like you're like, let me build a building, but I don't know what materials I have. So I don't know if I'm building a hut that made of mud, like reed mats, cement, bricks, like what am I? So I needed to get to know myself, not just like what I like and what I prefer, but also like what am I working with? So I love getting to know myself, and not every day is easy, but I feel compelled to like kind of share because I don't know who, there's people around me that I don't want to kind of impose like the cool thing, the what I find cool. And I thought that maybe if I post online, there would be someone else who like, well, they're like, yeah, I find that interesting. So fortunately, the whole Kundalini concept is that you then are balancing your two sides, right? So I look forward to doing that. And another thing was like to, I mean, you don't have to breathe so, like they said on the left side, you don't have to breathe so quickly. It can be like more paused, but yeah, interestingly, also like even last night I couldn't sleep and like my left nostril was completely like, well, not completely, but like really blocked. And it's interesting. I mean, now it's a lot better, but it's not like I cleansed it. I mean, I took a shower, maybe that helped, but yeah. So I look forward to seeing how, like, what the changes are. And then weirdly, I had a dream last night. I woke up and it was like, someone told me that people that mess up, like, and come to this planet to like clean their karma or like work on their karma or something like that. And it made me think of the show The Good Place, where people that had messed up in life have this kind of eternal chance of like seeing like what they want to do with eternity and how to, yeah. Anyway, it's a wonderful show. Really wonderful show. Really wonderful show. So I recommend that one. I really do. I really do. And then I had this, and this is just a question for looking for advice maybe, but I trained to be an actress. I then started to write scripts because I felt like in the UK, being Latino, obviously that's a minority, and I was like, couldn't really find myself in projects. So I was like, okay, well, I can write one. And I started doing that, but then I was like, I'm not really, and then I found myself that I wasn't really enjoying, and like I wasn't enjoying the rehearsing for the parts, auditioning for the parts. And sometimes, I think with live theater, there were instances where I did enjoy, especially being in front of an audience and being able to, live in that magic that is inhabiting a kind of another world, another character, like as you're doing acting. But I got to act in like a short film that I thought would be like literally the dream role of my life. And I felt like I wasn't good enough. And I don't know, I really got down about a lot of stuff. And then I realized that I had been pushing this TV show and it just felt like a duty that I needed to accomplish. And I felt like I was like just going about it and pushing. And I had made this promise to myself that I need to do this, and not realizing that I wasn't really enjoying much of it. And obviously it's really difficult if you're pushing for something that there's a question whether is it always going to be not enjoyable. But I'm also like feeling like, but I should, if I made a promise to myself, I should accomplish it. So I don't know, it's a weird one. I don't know what to do.